Why is it that when you kill a man in the heat of battle, it's called heroic, but when you kill a man in the heat of passion, it's called murder? In 5D.
5D.
Bonus points if you actually know what that's from.
Oh, not a goddamn bonus point.
You saw it fairly recently because I made you watch it, but that is from Wayne's World.
Oh yeah, but I've only ever seen Wayne's World once.
Yeah, and it was with me.
Yeah, exactly. And I was high as a kite.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. No, it was legal at that point, so it happened. We were there.
Allegedly.
We served punch.
What was the oh man, that takes me to the old Beastie Boys. We're gonna have punch and pie. Yeah. Punch and cake, punch and pie, whatever the fuck
I don't
it was.
remember. I know what you're talking about, but I don't remember. Dude, I don't listen to the Beastie Boys. I feel like that was something that I wasn't aware of until much too late to enjoy.
The
Not just 'cause
Beastie
I'm
Boys, I
young.
think, are one of those like because it's pre-internet. It was one of those things that was just kind of fun that got really, really popular when it should have been just kind of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
But I
no.
like that. That's not me. Like I like the Beastie Boys. It's a lot of fun, but should they have the legendary status that they
okay.
have?
So my bad. I totally misunderstood. I was thinking Beach Boys.
That is a very different band.
I know the Beastie Boys. No, not the Beastie Boys. I remember there was a band that I ended up partying with a couple years ago. Well, not the whole band.
It wasn't the Beach Boys because they're
No. It was
old.
it was the Beastie Boys. So when you were talking about I was thinking you were saying the Beach Boys. Where I was like, I don't know much about the Beach Boys. I think I was too young to enjoy the.
Cause we'll have fun.
Yeah, the only reason I know that is because of the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk commercials. That's the only reason.
That and they popularized the theremin.
I have no idea what that is.
The weird instrument that's just two antennas and you wave your hand in front of it. It makes like spooky sci-fi noises.
Oh, is that the one that goes? Wow, 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 wow,
Yeah, it does all kind of like wee woo 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 wee. They popularized the theremin.
The Beach Boys? I guess I don't remember enough of their songs.
One of their songs featured the I'll look it up if you.
It's not that I don't believe you. It's that I don't remember.
Beach Boy. Good Vibrations. Use the theremin.
Huh. Wow.
Good Vibrations. Yeah, it was.
No, keep going. I want to hear more.
I think that's actually the only words of that song that I know is Good Vibrations.
I have never heard this song before in my life.
You've never heard Good Well, to be honest, it's probably one of those things where if you watched like old 80s movies, you probably did, but didn't recognize it as anything more than a background track.
That happens
but
to me all the
it was all
time.
over the place.
So now that we have been driving a lot, me and my wife have basically done the whole like try new shit, so it's not the same goddamn Spotify playlist.
Uh-huh.
So these songs keep showing up, and I'm like, I know this song. Where do I know it from? And I'm like, I bet you it's one of those background songs they play in fucking movies during a type of scene, emotional or something like that. And I'm like, it's in my head, and I know the tune, and sometimes I can even pick up the lyrics because I must have seen that fucking movie several times.
Or what's even worse is when they can't get the rights to something, so they just make
the
something
covers?
legally distinct.
Yeah, the covers. Oh my god.
It's not a cover.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like they'll add some auto tune or some shit. Copyright laws are fucking insane, dude.
Well, or even like so like the Ghostbusters theme sounds so much like Huey Lewis in the News because the director tried to hire Huey Lewis and Huey Lewis said no. So then they hired like a different artist and they were like, "Hey, make everything sound like Huey Lewis in the News." And he was like, "Okay." And then like that's why it sounds like Huey Lewis in the News.
Well, didn't they actually sue?
Yeah, they might have, but I don't think they won.
I think
There's
they
actually
won something. I think they might have gotten the
maybe.
rights for it or something.
Maybe. But there's actually really great, and we've shouted them out before, and unfortunately I think the show is over now, but there was a great YouTube series called Every Frame a Painting. That was just like kind of like deep dives on film editing technique, which is, it's weirdly cooler than it sounds. But they did this one episode all about scores for movies, like how they get their soundtracks. And unfortunately, modern soundtracks really aren't as custom as they used to be. Modern soundtracks, most of the time, the director will just like take a song that he doesn't own and put it into a scene and edit to that. And then when it comes time to make the soundtrack, he'll go to whoever's doing the soundtrack and go, make it sound like this song. Or even, and apparently this has gotten really bad, and he points it out in there. They'll take the soundtrack to another movie and they'll stick it in their scene, and they'll be like, make it sound like this. And then the guys in the soundtrack come in like, yeah, just make it like something that sounds a lot like that, but isn't that. And that's why most movies really don't have a whole lot of memorable soundtracks, is because they're all just really using ominous tones and then copying each other.
Is that why you think a lot of the Disney musical things have been making such a comeback, or you think people are hankering for this?
I'll tell you, I actually think the reason that the Disney ones aren't doing as well as they keep wanting them to is because they keep fucking with the music.
That's true.
With something iconic like that, like this happened to me and my wife. I don't give a fuck who knows, dude. I love Aladdin. Aladdin's my shit. I grew up with that shit. Yeah. Like, it hits. And so when you sing those songs, that shit's a sing-along, bro.
Yeah. No, I get it. I get it, dude. Like,
gotta steal to eat, gotta eat to live. All I gotta do is jump. Like, whatever the fuck. I don't remember off the top of my head, but you know what I mean? But when you watch the new version, they cut lines from the songs, they change words in the songs, and they don't hit it at this in like the same levels. They did the same thing in Lion King. I just can't wait to be. There's the one part like towards the end where he really hits it. I just can't wait to be king. They don't hit it at the same part. And like it's the small things like that are enough to make somebody who's familiar go like, the fuck did you do?
It's kind of funny. On one of our drives, my wife put on Disney, classic Disney, but some of them were the soundtrack, but not like the movie sound.
Like a Kids Bop kind of thing,
where it was like famous artists doing their renditions.
Ew.
So it was like Celine Dion or some shit doing a whole new world. I might be wrong on that exact pairing, but it's an example. And they take a lot of liberties with the vocalizing to really show off their talents, and it's hot fucking garbage. Yeah, so I think it's along the same lines of what you're talking about, where I'm like, that doesn't sound good.
Dude, I don't know what it is. So it's not like a good band. You don't need to like rush out and listen to this song, but it's fairly famous. A lot of people know it. I love it. There's a band called Suicidal Tendencies who does a song called Institutionalized. And it's like this really weird, like avant-garde skate punk kind of. It's not for everybody. That's what I'm saying. Don't rush out. If you're listening to that going like, that doesn't sound good, you probably won't like it. But I like it. But there's been several bands throughout the years who cover that song, and I've never heard a good one, because the chorus in the original song, he goes, I'm not crazy. Institution. You're the one that's crazy. Institution. I swear to fuck, I have heard at least 3 different covers from 3 different bands. And every single one of them goes, I'm not crazy. You're the one that's like, they put this weird inflection. I'm like, why are all of you breaking this flow that exists for this weird hit on the none of them work. The only one that comes close, Ice-T's punk band Body Count, they're the ones who had their album banned like back in the late 80s early 90s because they did Cop Killer.
Oh, okay. Wait, really? I thought that was just Ice-T's normal group.
No. He has a hardcore thrash punk band called Body Count that he's the singer for, and they put out the song Cop Killer. He later albums that they do with that band. He does a sequel to Institutionalized. That's all from the point of view of Ice Cube getting angry at people and saying that like he needs to go to an institution. Oh my God, that has one of the best lines in it. There's one point where he's like, I was on set and I was having my lunch and I just wanted to eat a ham sandwich. And so like he's telling this whole story and this vegan guy is like harassing him about, like you can't eat that. That's bad for your heart and all this stuff. And so Ice-T is like yelling at him and he's like, fuck you and all this. And the guy goes, hey man, you need to calm down. You don't have to talk to me this way. I'm a vegan. And Ice-T goes, fuck a vegan. It's the song isn't good because it's a great song. The song is good because of like the atmosphere it sets up and the story it tells. And Ice-T is the only one who fucking hammered in on that and figured out what it was because he just made his own version from his own point of view and it hits the same. The
That's
original
funny.
Institutionalized is basically just about like, you know, early 90s skate punk kid disillusionment, you know? Like
Yeah.
I'm a shitty suburban skateboarder. Like and I'm just like angry about shit that I can't explain to people, and people are angry at me for being angry at things, and I don't know how to deal with that pressure. That's what the whole song is about. And so Ice Cube listens to this and he goes, "Oh fuck, I'm angry about shit, and people think I'm crazy for it." Yes, that's exactly what the song's about. And so he does his own version where he's like, "My wife was yelling at me about playing Xbox," and I said, "Fuck you, bitch! I just want to play some Xbox."
Okay, so you know what? This brings something to mind. I'm terrible at this, and I'm hoping you'll be better. But some songs that had sequels or responses, like
I've always wanted to do like a top 5 list, but I can't like think of 5 like off the top of my head to like hammer out a list.
Because remember, No Scrubs.
There's a sequel?
There's a sequel. Well, no, there's a retort. One would say.
Okay.
Another band did a song called, I think it was called like Pigeons or something, and that was the equivalent to a scrub, and basically they're talking shit right back.
Interesting.
I forget the name of the band, but I'm sure if you look up either sequel or reply to Scrubs or whatever the full name of that song was, but yeah. So do you know of any others?
Man, like yes, but not off the top of my head. Oh, actually, there is a new one that came out. Coheed and Cambria just did a sequel to Jesse's Girl, and they brought the original singer to Jesse's Girl in to do the cover. But it's all about how he's an adult now, and I think he's like with Jesse's Girl, but she's really a piece of shit after all the years have gone by, because like who leaves a guy for something like or something like that.
Yeah.
I listened to it the once, but it was really fun.
Yeah, so
I think this is okay. This is something like, please, 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 please write us in. Anybody listening, if you have a song sequel, I need song sequels in my life.
That's something that I just don't know off the top of my head. We could probably rattle out any other number of inane fucking facts about movies and music and shit, but that's one that like escapes me all the time. I know that like was it Mac Miller? Somebody had a row with Eminem, and they kept like rap battling back and forth in songs. But I don't know if grudges count.
I don't really count like a rap battle against each other. I'm really talking about like taking a song and then doing like the next part of that story or whatever.
Yeah. That's pretty interesting.
There's got to be a bunch of them though.
Yeah, I'm sure, but I can't think of any. So yeah, definitely write in. We are always here on the YouTube chat or
the YouTube
in5dproductions.com.
I like to think of it as the YouTube.
The YouTubes. Oh, sadness. Look what you've done. So it's supposed to fucking snow here this weekend.
Yeah, like where you live, that's just going to be a thing that you're going to need to deal with.
So here's the weird part. It's going to be nice and sunny all throughout the week, and on like Friday, Saturday, a little bit of Sunday, it's going to snow. It'll be the same for 2 weeks. Apparently, weekdays, it's cool to throw the sun when you got to be inside working. But, weekends, when you're free, fuck you.
That's Portland, it's sort of similar, but really at the end of the day, people just kind of get mad at the rain and then just sort of like refuse. There was literally a point, me and my wife were sitting outside of this tap house, just like enjoying some beers, waiting for some friends to show up. And it was one of those days, like, if you live in a rainier city, you know what I'm talking about. But you have those days where it just kind of like rains off and on in different levels throughout the day. So there's even points where you're walking, you're like, I don't really call this rain. Like it's spitting, but it's not even enough to like make your clothes wet. It sticks to the outside and fucks off.
So it's just drizzle,
right? And then like it'll pour for like 5 minutes, and then it's just done, and it's sunny or something else. So it was one of those kind of days. But we were sitting outside because it was like midway through COVID kind of time. Like stuff was starting to reopen, and people were like, "Can we go outside?" And I was like, "Fuck it, I need a beer." So we were sitting outside where it was like all distance, and we had a table with an umbrella, but there were plenty of tables that didn't have umbrellas, and it started raining. And I mean, like it was raining.
Yeah.
It was
Like
get
not
wet and be
California rain,
uncomfortable.
like
No,
just
like it was
dumping.
raining. So like we were like, should we move inside? Nah, everybody's in there. We have this umbrella. Like we'll get wet, but honestly, as long as the table and the beer is fine, I don't care. And there was literally just like these two older dudes with no umbrella on their tail, like splashes in their beer as rain, and they're just sitting there holding their conversation and sipping their beer. Like fuck you, rain. If we don't acknowledge you, you'll fuck off. It was like
Maybe they were so drunk they couldn't even feel it.
Bro, I see dudes in like sweaters, basketball shorts, and flip flops, and like pouring rain, just like heading into the grocery store. Like, fuck it. I really do feel like the people here, oftentimes, like if we just pretend like it's not around, it'll go away.
How does it feel to be a transplant?
It is weird. I will say, like, Oregon to California is not an extreme difference. Like, it's not like I went from, the Bay Area to, like, the Deep South.
Yeah.
Or even, like, the Bay Area to New York City, which is still big
Very
city,
different.
but it's very different. Oregon to California is not leaps and bounds different, but it is one of those things where I see the differences.
Yeah.
I go, like, that's an Oregon thing. We don't have that.
Yeah.
Like one of the weirder ones, especially coming from California, is the casual gambling.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forget that it's legal there.
Well, and just how like you'll go into places like just like a restaurant, like a
Dude, they have them
regular
at gas stations.
Yeah, but like we were seriously like a teriyaki hut, like a pick your number off the wall teriyaki hut.
Yeah.
And then there's just like a curtain and a wall and a bunch of slot machines, and you're like, do we not say anything or? Like, no, but like they just
did you think it was a speak easy for gambling?
Something. Well, hey, remember there was that. Oh no, was it you? I think it was Sean who was with us.
I never got a chance to go to that one in San Francisco.
No, not even San Francisco.
Oh.
In San Jose. So that's the thing. Me and my wife had been living in Grass Valley for a while. And we came back to San Jose, like it was like New Year's or something. Like we were in town and we were drinking. We were out with my best friend. And we were just drinking, having a night. And then like it was like 1:30 in the morning. Bars were starting to shut down. Shit was dying down. And we were like, fuck, like we've just been out drinking. I need food in my stomach before I go pass out, or it's going to be a bad day tomorrow. And he's like, fuck, I don't know what's open. Like, I don't want like fast food. Like, I kind of like, I want to sit down, chat a little bit longer, hang out, have some like decent food. And he goes, I know this place. And we're like, all right, man, like, let's do it. So we go, we get there, we sit down at a table, and I'm looking around, and bro, there's like people playing blackjack and poker and cards and all this stuff. And I'm like, what's going on? And he's like, yeah, I just heard this place is open 24 hours a day. I've never been here. I don't know what's going on either. And so we're like, is this some like late night back alley shit that we just like stumbled into? Like, what is happening? Apparently in California, you can do pay to play places where like as long as you spend like $35 to get quote unquote chips, you can go play a few hours of blackjack or poker.
Yeah, and then they do it on a like a ticket system or something.
Yes.
where you get chip back. Yeah, I understand.
But we're just sitting there eating, and like we were seriously like we were wigged out. We are like we're not used to this. So then I come here and I'm like, it's happening again.
Yeah, I know that there were places like that. They even started that casino, remember? Because there was Bay 101, and then they tried to bring the Matrix in, and then the conservative folks were like, "Nah, get out."
Oh, did that shut down?
Well, the problem is that they had tried to get all these permits. And by conservatives, I don't actually mean like politically. I just mean like the people that were
against it.
Yeah, they were just like, "Nah, we're not for this. We don't want gambling." They tried to get more permits for like real like roulette and shit like that, as opposed to just the card club stuff. But yeah, it didn't really work out. Pretty sure that place like either got sold real quick or is sitting empty.
Damn. Rough.
Yeah. Well, now that I'm up here, like I'm real close to Nevada, so I can just, once the air isn't also trying to kill me, I can go and do some gambling.
Some gambling.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll take a trip when I come up and see you.
Yeah, maybe we'll just do a couple hands because it's Nevada. People don't take that precaution.
Yeah. All right, that's enough life news. What do we got in the ways of media? Kick us off. Do something. Do a trick.
You watched a whole shit ton of things.
Yeah, which one are you more interested in? You tee me up. Tee me up for what you're interested in.
I was talking about the one where it's not a trilogy. I
see it up. It's on a delay for me to see it on the screen. Yes. So this was actually like weirdly, even though I had never seen one of these, it was still like one of my favorite. I don't want to use trilogy because it's not a trilogy; it's a triptych. There's a difference between these two things, but it's the Terry Gilliam triptych. So basically, it's a writer-director who set out to tell stories that represented three ideas in a series. Hence, not a trilogy. Trilogy, in the strictest sense of the words, they're sequels. It is one following the one before it, and so on and so on and so on. These are three movies that are not grouped in plot or in characters. There are some actors who cross over. There are three movies that are bound together with telling a complete idea. So it is a representation of childhood, a representation of adulthood, and a representation of old age. Done as movies. Okay. I had previously seen Time Bandits. I had previously seen The Adventures of Baron Munchausen. I had never seen Brazil.
Okay.
So my wife and I sat down. We watched them in order. So rewatching Time Bandits first. I love Time Bandits. It's a classic. Basically, in a weird nutshell, the story is about time-traveling little people who steal God's map to the universe to just steal shit, just collect treasure and like get rich. It's really their only scheme. They were in charge of inventing shrubs, and then they got fired from that, and they got put on cleanup duty, like cleaning up broken parts of the universe.
So they're like angels,
sort of.
Okay,
they work for God.
I was about to say like
they're angels in as much as they work for God.
But they're just like the lower tier of supernatural beings.
They have no supernatural powers, prowess, abilities, or knowledge. They just have a map that tells them how to get from one place to the other in the universe.
Wow, and is that by a boat, I take it?
No. You just gotta be in the right place at the right time. Like, there'll just be a door that opens up somewhere that you can go through as long as you're there when you need to be there.
Oh. Okay.
So... my wife kind of had a similar feeling on the movie where she was just like, it's just kind of stuff happening. Like, it's really funny. There are tons of really great bits, great one-liners, and it's all very fun and whimsical.
I get it. Because if it's supposed to represent childhood, like at any given moment, your brain just goes, you're very in the now. So yeah, at any given point where you need to be, wherever you're going to go, because you don't really control your whole...
Right.
Yeah, I get that.
And so they and even with the tone of the movie and sort of the pacing of it, it's just a little like hyper.
Mm-hmm.
But it's supposed to be. It's a representation of childhood. And I love watching it this time. I kind of caught on a little bit more, but the ending is great because the ending is dark and abrupt.
Okay.
And I feel like that, like, you know, like the loss of childhood. You don't lose childhood at like some specified time or moment. No. It's usually something that happens.
Yeah, random
That's what kicks you into that next step. And it's usually something a little unfortunate and very abrupt. So I like that. Should I spoil the ending? Should I say it or no?
I'm going to watch it soon, I think.
I will not spoil it. I do. Watch Time Bandits is great. It's probably not going to be anybody's new favorite movie of all time, but it's a very enjoyable film.
Yeah.
So, the one I've never seen before, Brazil, the representation of adulthood. Loved it. This ended up being my favorite.
Okay.
It is actually in the Criterion Collection, and I absolutely understand why it's in the Criterion Collection.
Okay. So tell me about it, because I've obviously never seen it.
So Brazil is a futuristic one, all about it's basically the world is lost in the bureaucracy. Somewhere along the line, the government just made everything as bureaucratic as possible, but it worked. There's like more or less a peace, except for all those terrorists who keep blowing things up. But you know what? They'll just put up like a screen so you don't have to see the fire and the explosions, and then you don't have to think about it, and it's fine. And if you do want to think about it, there's some hoops you have to jump through to firmly question what's happening. And basically, the whole thing is about this dude who's really good at his job, but he doesn't really like it. But he also doesn't really want to move up because he's just fine. He's just kind of going through the motions and living his life until he starts having this dream about this woman. And then while he's out on one of his jobs, he sees the woman. Like, it's her.
Oh.
And so he kind of just goes off on this thing of, like, just trying to meet her and be a part of her life. Meanwhile, kind of woven in and out of this story is another story of something in the bureaucracy goes wrong, and the wrong man is arrested for a crime. And sort of how the bureaucracy deals with making a mistake, because it doesn't make mistakes. So when a mistake is found, there's money that's got to get transferred, there's people who have to get paid, and there's really just all these different levels of checks and balances that have to happen to make sure that it's not a mistake.
Okay.
So it's kind of, it was just really fun. And honestly, what sells all three of these movies, the set pieces are gorgeous. Because they're older, they didn't get to rely on CG and stuff. So they're actually building these giant, elaborate sets. And there is so much detail. Like, one of the things my wife noticed that's so subtle, but definitely one of those like bureaucratic, stupid decisions that's just minorly inconvenient. Think of a filing cabinet, okay? Think of the handles on that filing cabinet. Your brain jumps to a horizontal something that you pull on. Nay, all of the filing cabinets in this movie have vertical handles.
Oh.
It's so minor. It's so off-putting, and it's never mentioned. It's not like that's a plot point. Just somebody on the set of that was like, do them like this. And it makes so much sense. It's the little things, the way they build the sets, their attention to detail, and honestly, just the movie itself. It was super fun, super engaging. Maybe 15 to 20 minutes too long. Okay. I do think there was some fat. And I can't, like, there's very few movies where I don't go, hey, I'm a streamlined kind of guy.
How long is the movie, though?
Just about 2 hours.
Okay, so... But isn't hour and a half nowadays, especially, like, too short?
Hour and a half, yeah. It's usually considered, like, kids' movie status, but I don't know. I think, like, you can get an hour 45 and still get really enjoyable. Like, there's just fat. There's just some stuff where I go, we didn't need to do all of that. That was not necessary. A lot of really good, like, Robert De Niro's in it in a really small part. But Robert De Niro is, like, randomly in there as a super fun role. And actually, while watching Brazil, I came up with an awesome sequel to Brazil that I would love to do at some point. Like, fuck me, if I could get the rights to do, like, a comic book sequel to Brazil, there's a story, like, buried inside of there that is so fun.
Okay. Well, don't tell it here. Write it.
Yeah. Well, I'll give you sort of, like, because this is not my idea, but sort of the so Robert De Niro's character is a rogue repairman. So he's almost like a vigilante. He intercepts calls from the central bureaucracy, whatever the hell they're called. And then when people have problems, he just shows up and fixes them. But that's a crime. You can't fix all that stuff. The government owns that, and they fix it, and you didn't fill out paperwork, and they can't verify the work you've done. But he doesn't care. It's all about just making things work. So he's a superhero who's not fighting crime. He's fighting problems in the system, and by just getting in and fixing. Like, it's so cool and so fun. Bob Hoskins is always in it as the bureaucratic repairman who's catching on to everything. You know Bob Hoskins, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, just like a lot of people before they're big.
So is it funny? Because Bob Hoskins is a comedian, right?
Oh, yeah, no, the whole... It's one of those, like, it's British comedy.
Okay.
So it's a little dry, but it's great. Like, there's a whole one of like the little running bits. His desk is shared with the guy in the office next door. The desk is shared through the wall. So occasionally one of them will just yank on the desk to get a little bit more desk space and take it from them. It's little things like that. There's lots of just like these subtle, stupid little comedic bits. Really, really fun movie.
Okay.
Loved Brazil.
What did your wife think? Because I'm trying
Oh
to.
no, it was
I
her
think
favorite as well.
Okay.
She really, really liked it.
Okay.
And again, gorgeous set pieces. Like watching stuff and going, "Oh fuck, that's practical. Holy shit."
That's
Stuff
okay.
like that. Really good.
Okay. Yeah, you're making him to watch this. What streaming is this on?
We got so I ended up buying the Blu-ray. The Blu-ray came in the day after my birthday, so I ended up renting it on Amazon Prime for $4.99.
Brazil?
Brazil.
Okay. I wonder if any of the other ones are any of the streaming services.
Yeah. Probably.
Yeah. So,
Probably.
Okay.
So the final one in the triptych representing old age, you had The Adventures of Baron Munchausen, which is all about a British city under siege from the Turkish, I think.
Okay.
And this theater company is just trying to survive. Keep putting on the show. The city will take care of us as long as we're entertaining the people and putting on, like, literally bombs going off, but they're just putting on their show, because if they can prove to the city that they're valuable, they'll stay in jobs, they'll be protected, and they'll be okay. When all of a sudden the person that they're telling their story about, Baron Munchausen, this legendary war hero, shows up and goes, "You have all this wrong. All the details are wrong. I'm going to tell you the real story." And then they go off on this incredible journey of this aged hero. And the whole story he's telling is the story of how he saved this town from the Turkish who are invading right now.
Okay.
So it's all about reassembling his team and going off and you know, because the Turkish are there for him. It's all because he bet a Turkish emperor that within the hour he could have the finest bottle of wine from Venice there in Turkey. And if he won, he would take as much gold from the emperor's
coffers
treasury as the strongest man could carry. But what he doesn't know is the people who work for Baron Munchausen are the fastest man in the world, the strongest man in the world, a midget with really strong lungs, little person, sorry, I slipped. And a man with like incredible eyes. He can hit a target from halfway around the world.
Oh, nice. That's useful.
Right. So the whole thing, like, you know, they've all been scattered to the winds in their old age, and he takes this little girl from the theater troupe out on this adventure to reassemble his team and convince the Turkish emperor to swear it all off. And that's sort of what it's about. Me and my wife, this is the one we fell in totally different places on.
Okay.
She really didn't enjoy it. She thought it was just a little too loose. The jokes weren't landing as much for her. It just sort of, it wasn't working. Where for me, I will say, I ended up liking Baron Munchausen less than I did probably the last time I watched it, but because I saw the story in a different light. Really, to me, the story is not just the story of old age, but the story of old stories. Because throughout the whole thing, there's all these points where Baron Munchausen, the chat is saying Munchausen has Robin Williams in it. It does, and he's fantastic in it. He plays the Emperor of the Moon, whose head and body are separate entities, and they don't like each other, but they need each other.
That's funny.
Amazing. But Munchausen is the story of stories, and there's several points in it where Munchausen kind of wants to give up. Like, he's kind of done, and the story just needs to end, and he needs to die. And it's not until things get going and the adventure's happening, his character actually gets younger, like, visually. He starts to age a little bit, you know, back when the adventure's going, and he's got the thrill in him. And it really, to me at least, became this sort of meta message on, like, look, old stories are great, and there's a lot of lesson and passion in old stories, but at some point you can't rely on old stories.
Yeah.
Old stories need to just be the stories that they were, not the stories that they can become, which was just really cool because he's kind of sunsetting his trilogy. He's doing this story of this older character who was done and is being brought out because of a child. You get that completed loop. You get the grand tale, right? And the whole thing is kind of this way too larger than life tale because that's how your grandpa told the story. He walked uphill 50 miles both ways in the snow with no, it's exactly that kind of story. They take a boat to the moon and whatever else. It's ridiculous, but it's supposed to be. And it's a little like that one leans heavier on like old school fantasy tropes.
Yeah, okay.
Because that's what old stories are. It's a little more paint by numbers. It's a little more simple. And it's not like hammering this message home of like old is bad or anything. It's more just kind of playing old from all the angles of old, Sure, it has life, and sure, it's great, and it's adventurous, and it's classic, and it's hard-hitting. But it's also done. It's also nothing we haven't heard or haven't seen. And the things that worked then just don't work now because things change. And that's just sort of how things go. Really, still really solid. I do really love Baron Munchausen. Uma Thurman, way before she's like a household name.
Huh.
Eric Idle in this one. Yeah, really, really solid. Yeah, that's really like, again, my wife didn't love it as much. I really liked it. I can see where she didn't like it, but this one had the best set pieces. The biggest, most elaborate set pieces.
Even better than Brazil? Because you were raving about Brazil just a second ago.
Brazil's set pieces work for Brazil, but if we're talking about like elaborate and pretty, like somebody had a budget to go and build some fucking stages, Munchausen had a budget for some stages, bro.
Did these movies make money?
When they came, well, Brazil made it into the Criterion Collection.
Yeah,
so if it didn't make it in the box office, it has definitely made it back since.
Yeah.
The others, I'm not sure. I could look.
Yeah, I wonder how much money they made, because usually stuff that's really good isn't very, profitable.
So Terry Gilliam did have a name behind him at the time. He was one of the main members of Monty Python on the writing staff.
Oh, that's true.
And he's also, since then, he did like The Man Who Killed Don Quixote. He did The Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus. Unfortunately, Heath Ledger's last movie, he died. Oh, wow. So it opened at, Time Bandits opened at $6 million.
Okay.
But in total, throughout its life run, has made about $42 million.
Okay, what was its budget? Does it say?
Box Office Mojo doesn't seem to have its budget. There's no way it's a $6 million movie, though.
I mean, with the practical effects, yeah, probably not.
Oh, okay. Wow, it actually didn't do great. It was a $5 million budget, and it made $6 million back. But since then, has done much, much better.
Yeah. Wow.
So Brazil, they labeled Brazil as a drama sci-fi. I disagree with that. Oh, Brazil definitely did not make its money back. Domestic opening, $30,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
Domestic here in the States, like.
Yeah, well, actually, that might be England.
Saying,
it says
right?
domestic, but I'm guessing domestic might be England. International, worldwide was about 9 million, but that's updated. That's not at release, unfortunately.
Okay.
I don't think they have that number.
Wow, yeah, that doesn't sound very. But they keep giving him money.
Yeah, right. Well, I think it's one of those things where like film. Oh my god, it was a $15 million budget.
Wow. Sometimes pictures just don't pay off.
Which, I mean, they should. Like, I mean, it's in the Criterion Collection for a reason. It's so good. Okay. Wow. Baron Munchausen got killed as well. The budget that I'm seeing was $46 million. Domestic opening, $597,000.
Wow.
Worldwide made about $8 million.
That's crazy. So unfortunately, he couldn't trade on his name for people to show up.
No, which is really unfortunate. But again, since then, he's come back and he's done a few things that I think did do much better. Let me pull him up really quick. I was actually looking up because I realized there's two like newer movies he's done that I haven't seen at all. One of which was The Man Who Killed Don Quixote. I did not see it. I would love to see it. I really should. So let's see. The other ones he did. Oh, he did 12 Monkeys. So he made his money there. He did direct Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
Oh, okay.
One that I know you and I liked, and I think everybody else in the universe hated. He did the Brothers Grimm.
Oh,
Yeah,
I didn't hate that.
yeah, it was fine.
Yeah.
He did Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus.
Yeah, but that one got tanked because of Heath Ledger's passing because it
Yep.
got delayed. They had to do a bunch of reshoots and a bunch of
Right.
people like took his place. That I feel like if that
It was still
wasn't-
really good. I really
It
liked
was.
it. Even chat is saying that there's a few people in chat who enjoyed it. I really liked it.
Yeah, it was good. I feel like it was just a little distracting.
Yeah. So another one he did, it was what do they label it as? It's a sci-fi, a comedy, drama, fantasy, but the Zero Theorem. Did you see
Oh,
that?
Nope, never seen that.
It's got Christoph Waltz, so you know it's fucking weird. That's the long and short of that. I do really want to see it. I think it didn't do very well in theaters, but I like Terry Gilliam, so I probably
Yeah.
will enjoy it. And then he also did The Man Who Killed Don Quixote, which 6.4 rating out of 10. Didn't do very well, but
Excuse
again,
me.
I really like Gilliam, so it might be one of those things where it's like I like it, even though lots of other folks didn't.
Yeah, fair enough. I gotta watch some of these classics. I still need to watch the last in the Cornetto trilogy. I've never seen it.
Yeah, it's a lot of people really kind of shit on that one. I actually think it's still really solid, even though it is my least favorite of them. It's not my least favorite because it's bad. It's my least favorite just because the other two are so good.
Are you a Shawner or are you more on the fuzz?
Shaun of the Dead every time.
Is it because of the zombies? It's more your genre.
No, it's because every time I watch that movie, I kept something new that I didn't know before.
Okay, that's fair. I mean, man, you do that with I do that with Hot Fuzz as well.
Some stuff, yes, but I feel like because it does the same circuit storytelling, it was easier in Hot Fuzz the first time, so you had the head start.
Yeah, oh, that's true. I like Hot Fuzz, but there's just some parts of it are just slow. It's not that
Yeah, a couple little bits of it.
it's not that like the humor is British and dry because I love British humor. It's just slow. Nothing of note happens.
I will. World's End. Edgar Wright is on his editing game.
Okay. And I want to see. Was it? Is his name Nick? No. Oh man. What is the actor that's always with him? Because it's
Nick Frost.
Nick Frost. So him switching those roles, I want to see how that works. 'Cause I've never seen him not be the dopey sidekick.
Really well. Really, really well. He nails it. And Simon Pegg nails the train wreck.
I gotta see that because I just want to see them in their element. Well, out of their element, I would say, because they've always played that other role in the other two movies, and they did it really well.
Yeah, it's worth doing.
Yeah.
Now I've been revisiting a lot of those like more classic ones. Like we just redid The Shining. And even my wife at first was like, "This is really boring, and I hate this." And then by the end of the movie, was like, "Oh, this is really good." And they totally had to play the beginning so boring. Like this would be really weird if the boring shit was not like up front, getting it out of the way.
Okay. So that's
One we didn't like though, on our D&D group suggestion, I asked our D&D group, out of these three, which is the one I should show my wife? Halloween, Friday the 13th, or Nightmare on Elm Street? Pretty much unanimously, I think except for you, they all said we should watch Halloween.
No. I was the one who was like, "No, dude, that's just
No, that's all of them except for you.
Oh,
We're
okay.
saying do Halloween. You were like the only
Oh.
one who was like do Nightmare, which
Yeah.
would have been my vote. Had somebody
Yeah.
asked me, I would have voted Nightmare.
Nightmare's the way
I
to
was like,
go."
I was like, I will trust them, like how could this many guys be wrong? No, it's honestly, it's the worst one. Both of us walked away from Halloween going, how did this get sequels? That was actually really bad.
Halloween was designed to be a copy. It was the well, not Trauma. What are the guys who do the like Transmorphers or whatever that shit?
Oh, The Asylum.
Yeah, so it's supposed to be like back then a version of The Asylum where they're just taking the popular slasher films. This was just the one that hits. A lot of people say that this is the first one, and it really wasn't. It was just the one that popped. But yeah, so it was just kind of generic-y, where for me, Nightmare has... at least in the beginning, a legitimate story, a villain that is at least 2dimensional versus
their villain has charisma, bro. He sells
it's
it.
crazy. Like he's not this just faceless horror. He likes it, and he's coming for you specifically.
Well, the reason I was so after I watched it, I was like, man, I wish I would have shown you Friday the 13th, because Friday the 13th, again, it's not like a fantastic movie, but that twist, it's such a famous fucking twist. It sells it.
Especially the first one. After that, they're all kind of whatever.
I'd say like the first and the second, because the second one you do actually get Jason, where the first one it wasn't the whole time.
That's true.
Then it's it's a lot like Nightmare. They're hit or miss after that.
Yeah.
Like we're saying in the chat and in the chat right now, like Dream Warriors is really fun with Nightmare.
It's fun, but it's not the same.
No, and they do, like, the movies kind of changed their tone a little bit. There's a few that were very experimental.
Yeah.
I've actually weirdly never seen this one, but A New Nightmare, where it's like meta and he's killing like Wes Craven and stuff. I hear such a 50-50 split. Some people are like, fuck, it saved the series. And other people are like, no, that was the nail in the coffin, never again. So Nightmare is really divided.
thought that was like Jason Goes to Hell or Freddy versus Jason. Jesus, have you seen that?
Look,
I need to go back and watch that because I feel like I liked it because of the collab. So I don't know how I'd feel about it now.
I like it because of the novelty and the fun deaths that are in it. As a movie, it's kind of shit, but it's the same thing as Jason X, where he goes to space.
God, dude, that is terrible, but I love it.
It's so good.
It's so awful.
It's so bad, but it's so good.
It is one of those movies. I will definitely watch that again. It is hilarious. And when the effects don't hold up, by the way.
No, God, no.
I feel they didn't hold up when they were there. It actually looks like a 90s, well, not 90s, like 2000s, I guess, sci-fi show with a lower budget.
Oof.
Like Andromeda or even like Star Runner or any of those.
You're coming at him.
Yeah, but I like shitty sci-fi. So
fair.
I'm into it. I'm all for the story. Yeah, that's kind of crazy. I think
you do need to brush up on a few more of your like classic films, just so you can say some of them. I honestly don't even think you'll like, but it's one of those things you got to like. You have to be able to say you've seen it. You know?
Yeah.
If you want to hold any clout, you need to have watched the movie.
But what I've been revisiting are things like Event Horizon. That is a fantastic fucking movie.
Fuck, Event Horizon's really good.
It's creepy as shit, even to this day. Like, it's not scary anymore, but it's creepy. It's a good little flick.
What else have you redone? What have you revisited?
So I did the entire Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Gross.
Recently. I've tried to go back and do all the Harry Potters, but you know what I realized? I can't watch them all straight through.
It's too much.
Well, they're just not eventful enough. Right?
Yeah.
Like, it feels like they got stretched too much. So it just feels like I'm just getting through a bunch of bullshit. There's no more magic and wonder of discovering the story for the first time. And
we'll just have to wait for the game.
Yeah, actually, I don't know how I'm gonna feel about that. You know what game I just bought, but I haven't had a chance to actually play. So review incoming. Here's a preview, which is a game you probably already played. People out there, Abe's Odyssey.
Oh yeah,
it was like, I don't know, it was like $10 on the Switch. So I'm gonna play that. And I finally, after all this crazy things happening, I had a chance to go back. But the All-Star, the one that comes with the Mario 64, Mario Galaxy. Yep. I also got that. It was downloaded last night. I'm looking forward.
I'm trying to play Mario 64, and it's just frustrating.
Yeah, I remember it being particularly difficult, and I don't remember why anymore because it's been so long.
The controls have not been optimized.
Oh, they don't transfer well.
I'm not saying they don't transfer well. I'm just saying they work as well as they ever did.
Yeah. Well, because it had that really weird-ass controller. That controller was really a miss. The N64 had a lot of really cool things. That controller was not one of them.
Yeah, no.
It's like, yeah, you know what I'd like? I'd like my controller to be a in the shape of a trident that's coming at me. That's
You know
what
what I
I'd
want to
like.
do is not be able to hold on to this properly.
Yeah. I remember getting the calluses on my palms because the games to spin that little thing, like they weren't sensitive enough to really rotate, so you just had to be like, nah. My mom
So
would be like, "What's wrong with your hands?" I'm like, "Stigmata." No, just-
to be fair, they took the GameCube controller, and then their only thought was, you know what I hate? Symmetry.
That's right. Well, they were probably like, "I think this fits the hand better." I don't know, man. Some
Bad.
controllers are just wacky. Like even the Dreamcast, that was a wacky ass controller.
Yeah, and the weird like holder to flip the cable to go where it needed to go
Yeah,
was weird. It was
yeah.
weird.
I don't know. I feel like the probably the Sega was the best one because it was smooth and rounded
You talking about
as
the
opposed to the
Genesis?
square. Yeah, like the Genesis or even the Saturn.
Yeah. Oh, you talking about? Oh, yeah, right here.
Oh yeah, boy. I know. He
Blim.
actually just busted one out for those listening and not watching. Yeah. So I'm actually going to be able to display all my classic consoles and actually going to add the Xbox One to the shelf because once the Series X gets here, I'm gonna have to replace that shit in the main console upstairs.
Yep, I'm gonna have to do the same. Basically, the 360 is gonna move downstairs. The One is going to move into the bedroom, and the Series X is going to go upstairs. And then the PS4 will go downstairs, and the PS5 will go upstairs.
Yeah. So exactly. I actually left a spot on the wall because we built shelves for one of the TVs that we had at our old place. It's actually the one that was in the living room. So I'm gonna get a couple of upscalers and just plug everything in and just have a bunch of labeled switches and be like, boom! I'm gonna have a console wall, son.
Be careful when you're buying upscalers. A lot of them only work with PC and not your TV.
Son of a bitch.
Not all of them, just a lot of them.
Well, thanks
So
for the
just
heads
be
up because I was
careful
gonna be
when you're
really
buying
mad.
them. Just make sure you do your research first.
Yeah. So I'm pretty excited about that. Only thing I'm gonna have to buy is the upscalers and maybe some cabling, but we'll figure it out. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
If the Bears don't get me, I'm gonna have a console wall.
You're just gonna come in one morning. There's gonna be bears playing on your console wall.
Yeah, exactly. Altered Beast. Narr. Um, so I got plans for this place. I'm gonna probably paint the wall behind me in chroma to start doing wacky shit in the background.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, cause fuck you, it's my house.
yeah. Why not?
Yeah, get the opportunity to do things like that. It's kind of crazy. So the other night, this is an update on the bare necessities. The other night I was coming out to let the dog out to do her thing, and she starts like growling, and I didn't see anything. But I point the light on my phone up higher, and there's a fucking bear cub sitting on top of the goddamn fence.
Jesus.
And then all of a sudden it makes a noise and I see another head pop out from the other side of the fence. And then at that point both me and my dog were like, well, now we know what's going on. We're just gonna go inside. You do you guys. So yeah, we bailed. We didn't run because you don't want to run, but we just, quickly backed away, went inside.
Yeah.
But
right call.
my dog, the new one, the one that we've only had for like 4 or 5 months, she put herself in between me and the danger, and she wouldn't back up until I was a distance away because I was trying to get her to come, and then finally she bailed with me. So
Wow.
she's a good dog. She's got
Yeah.
that guard dog spirit. I mean, she's shepherd, right? She's got all kinds of shepherd in her, but we didn't know what kind of traits. But she's got some good traits.
Well done.
Yeah. So that was the on our I will be your bear correspondent until I am replaced after a bear incident.
I feel like not enough podcasts have a bear correspondent. So
That's true. I feel
you know,
like we got
that's
one
just
up
one
there.
thing that we're bringing you.
Yeah, at this point, I feel like my father-in-law will forever tell stories of his harrowing bear encounter when he had to smoke. I half expected it to make him want to quit, but I don't think we got there. All right, actually, that brings us right up
Yep.
on time
On
today.
that note,
We ran a little late. That was my fault. I was trying not to be a fat ass, and all kinds of craziness like that. Check us out on
he failed.
Tuesdays. Most Tuesdays. This upcoming Tuesday is not going to happen. I have some house stuff to take care of that is just gonna take precedence. I apologize. We have been playing Gloomhaven. I was looking forward to playing again. Maybe I'll do a surprise cast Saturday morning or something if there's time. If there aren't any house chores. Anyways, right? Oh, I have a house. Boo hoo. Fuck it. Bias Bros every other Thursday comes out where Bonsai and Jay do movie related and media related lists of things.
Sure.
Yep. Is that
good
close enough?
It's good enough for you.
They talk about stuff and things more movie related than this pod. Cool. Last words?
I mean, are we really putting me down already? Jesus.
Yeah, we're going for it.
Just lost the last one.
Final thoughts. Oh, dark. Dark. Awesome. We're going there. All right, now let me go cry for half an hour. Woo! Oh, okay. So we're doing this now. We can joke about it. This is a thing.
I think we can get away with like one per episode.
All right, fair enough. From here on out, there's gonna be the missing void in our lives. All right. On that note, bye.
Bye. And we're clear.
No, we weren't yet.
It's from Wayne's World.
One time.